Hello, everyone, and welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting's coverage of the Spec-5 World Tour Season 8, race number 7, I believe, here at Spa. Tonight, we are obviously here at the Spa, the full course Grand Prix pits. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, frequently referred to as Spa, is a 7-kilometer or 4.3-mile motor racing circuit located in Stavelot, Belgium. It is the current venue of the Formula One Belgian Grand Prix, hosting its first Grand Prix here in 1925, and has held a Grand Prix every year since 1985, except 2003 and 2006. Spa also hosts several other international events, including the 24 Hours of Spa, the World Endurance Championship 6 Hours of Spa, and the TCR Spa 500. It is also home to the Uniroyal Fun Cup 25 Hours of Spa, one of the longest motor races in the world. The circuit has undergone several redesigns through its history, most extensively in 1979 when the track was modified and shortened from a 14-kilometer circuit using public roads to a 7-kilometer permanent circuit due to safety concerns with the old circuit. Despite its name, the circuit is not in Spa, but lies in the vicinity of the town of Francorchamps, within the boundaries of the municipality of Stavelot, with a part in the boundaries of Malmedy. My name is Adam Thompson. Tonight, I am joined by Alex Anderson up there in the commentary booth. I'll try to be running cameras for you. We're going to have Alex doing most of the commentating tonight. Alex, welcome in, my man. We had a race here last night for Cross Touring Cup. Tonight, we got Mazdas. What do you think?
Well, judging off how the Cross Touring Cup went last night, and now coming in here with Miatas, this, in my opinion, is going to be probably one of the best Spec 5 races we've ever covered. I mean, you got long straights like the Camel Straight, then you go to Ravage, you got the tight corners, but it's still wide enough for everybody being able to pull off anything that they can really put their mind to. So, definitely, I think that we're really set up for an amazing race here. I mean, we've got fantastic drivers here in the Spec-5 World Tour, and I think this personally is just going to be a fantastic race, and it's going to go up there as one of the best Spec 5 races we've covered.
I think it's going to. We are already here into qualifying, about a minute in. As you can see, they have 15 minutes to get their best lap in. And I was watching, these guys are running some about 2:20-ish times from what I've been seeing in practice. So pretty long race we've got, or not a long race, it's still 45 minutes, but a very long lap for these guys. And we do have a bit of information saying that you can go about 30 minutes on fuel here, or 10 laps. You will run out on your 10th lap. Tires do seem to wear pretty evenly around this track. The question is going to be if anybody is going to take a chance on tires during that pit stop. You know it's going to slow them down, but man, the question here, Alex, is these Miatas love draft. And if you get out of that draft by taking tires, I just don't think these corners, I don't think tires will help you enough to get back up there.
Yeah, definitely. And with the draft here, the draft is definitely a very powerful force with these Miatas, with how slow they are down these straightaways. The draft is definitely going to pull cars straight back together if somebody pulls away. Through some of the technical sections like we were talking about, we have Pouan, Fines. I honestly don't know how you say that one. We got Curva Paul Freire, and just every technical part of this racetrack where somebody could pull away from the cars behind him. Then you come down to a long straightaway like the Camel Straight around Blanchimont. Suddenly, everybody's right back together. So, definitely going to be an interesting race here tonight to see how that affects everything. Because honestly, if you're in a big pack, I think a large group of cars is going to beat fresh tires.
Yeah, I think you're right there, to be honest. We'll definitely find out as we get into this a little further. But right now, we're riding along here watching with Otis Adams, who... Alex, you've commentators cursed him twice. We're still waiting on this man to get a win here in his open class. Think tonight's the night?
Well, I think just by mere mentioning his name, we're giving him another commentator's curse, which would suck, but I really hope tonight's the night he gets it done. Like I've said, we've hyped him up so much, and then, well, I guess hyping him up curses him, so... Again, I'm rooting for him. I really hope he can get it done, but, you know, just... In the end, I just hope we don't commentators curse him, to be honest. I mean, we've done it so many times, and I just hope that tonight's the night that, I just hope tonight's the night he can get something done here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys can see there on the bottom of your screen and on the left, there says no time there on the bottom. And then on the left side, there still is no timing tower. That's because these laps are so long that a car has not completed a single flying lap yet. They've all come out on their out laps. Again, we're watching Otis Adams right now on his out lap. It looks like Stephen Hellowell and Charles Vaccaro are about maybe to set some times. Nope, there we go. There's Foweather with the first guy that's going to be crossing the line on his first time. Go to him real quick, and we are going to pick him up. Where are we picking him up at? It looks like we're picking him up along the backstretch, going through Blanchimont right now, about to come up into this chicane. It is now called the chicane, also known as the bus stop back in the day. See exactly what Foweather can do. One of the quicker guys here in the open class. He's going to take a hard right, hard under braking. This is going to be a very, very, very good passing opportunities for these Miatas when we get into the race trim with all of these drivers out on track. But at the moment, he's going to cross the line, and he's going to run a 2:48.499 Jedediah Babinek, and here they all come. Tom Rath does beat Foweather out by 3/100ths of a second, 2:48.469. Kenneth Staub comes across the line with a 2:48.860. Charles Bowley about to get across the line here. Looks like maybe there he goes with a 2:50-ish something. There it is. Nope, that is Jordy Fike crosses the line with a 2:48.671. Otis Adams, 2:49.295. And Paulo Coimbra, 2:49.658. Those are the drivers that have crossed the line so far. So 8 drivers have gotten out there and put in a lap. We're still on board here, or riding along with Foweather, who you can see on the top. You've got the red showing pro and the blue showing open. At the moment, Foweather is a long ways ahead of his closest open rival, which is Otis Adams, who is back there in 7th with Foweather right now, occupying that second position on the grid. Alex, if you were in the open class tonight, would you rather be up here with some of these pro drivers who you know are quick, maybe help them pull you along, or do you want to be back there with your open class drivers, you know, knowing that you're going to be able to race with those guys?
Well, honestly, if I'm an open class driver and I can be as far up as Simon Foweather currently is, I'm definitely going to be okay with that, you know. If I'm in the open class and I'm that far up, I'm going for the win in class, and I'm definitely going to try and get as many points as I can from this race as possible, because as we know, even though there are 2 different classes, everybody goes for the same points in Spec 5, so definitely I'd rather be in front of everybody with all the pro drivers just to try and help pull away from my other open competitors, to try and just keep myself in a good position to win it for my class and maybe even the race.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you take a lap around the track with one of these drivers when we get one across the start-finish line, kind of give some viewers the lay of the land here?
Yeah, here. Send him into the onboard view. I'll take him around a lap. Here we go.
All right, so we are about to have Foweather get here through the bus stop, and we're going to go here into the cockpit and let Alex take you through a lap around this awesome track of Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps.
All right, well, hard braking into the bus stop leads Simon Foweather. A little miss of the curb there, but that's okay. If you can go wide there, you can still get a great drive off. Coming down the front straightaway now, that's where everybody's going to start. And down into turn 1, a tight hairpin, definitely going to change the course of this race. I definitely would say everybody going in there, they're going to be going in there hard and fast, and with how much you have to brake for that corner, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if we see an opening lap incident. But down this short straightaway, this is where the endurance races start, I do believe. and into Eau Rouge and Radion, we saw the implications of what could happen when you catch a slower car here last night in the Cross Touring Cup. So, definitely not a spot you want to catch a slower car. It could definitely slow you down there. And the little runoff area means if you spin there, you have nowhere to go but the wall. But down the Kemmel Straight here, I believe the longest straightaway of this circuit, definitely going to use the draft with a lot of these cars. Then into turns 5, 6, and 7. Just a series of right, left, right chicanery, kind of. All 90-degree corners. Great for going side by side through if you can hold it. Then down into a tight, downward 180-degree corner known as Ravage. This is turn number 8. Very easy to understeer and go off. You see Simon Foweather get it right out to the curb just perfect. Through No Name corner here, a tight downhill 90-degree left-hand corner, then down another short straightaway and under this Vodafone bridge. This is another part where the draft might play a role. Coming into Pouan, turn 12, 2 consecutive left-hand corners. You have to brake a little bit for the first one, but it's full throttle to the second one. As you see Simon Foweather able to upshift mid-corner here. Then into Faunes, turns 13, 14, and 15, consisting of one right-hander leading directly into another left-hander. We see corners of this caliber a lot on this track, but still can provide for some great racing. Then down into turn 15, another right-hand corner. It's about 90 degrees, then a bit of a short shoot into turn 16, which brings you down onto the Blanchimont straightaway. Definitely going to be some drafting opportunities here. You definitely turn a lot down this straightaway, but still, it doesn't matter how much you're turning. If you're full throttle, that draft is going to play a major role under the DHL bridge and into turn 17 Blanchimont. High speed left-hand corner coming up right now. Looks like for these Miatas, you do not have to brake there. You can go full throttle through it. Then down under the bridge stone banner and coming down to the last chicane through the bus stop. Hard on the brakes here. Ooh, you don't want to do that. Misses the apex into the first corner, but he might be able to get a good drive off by getting it to the outside and turning back across the track. He does. Looks like he went green in the middle sector, but it's not going to be an improvement. Simon Foweather hits a 250.168.
Yeah, pretty good job there, Alex. But, so right now you can actually see Sean Hayes has just come across the line and pipped Foweather by about 2/100ths of a second. So you've got two open drivers here, starting with Tom Rath, the class of the field right now, about 0.2 of a second above everybody. But some of these drivers that we're used to seeing up here in the front not doing too great at the moment. Got Otis Adams back there way down the field. We were wanting him to get a good start at he heard me talking, Alex. There he goes, up into 5th place overall. These drivers, look at how intermingled the open and the pro drivers are tonight.
Yeah, and when that happens, when everybody starts getting intermingled and we see different drivers from different classes just all spread throughout the field in different spots, you know it's definitely going to play for an interesting race, because you have everybody up front, Tom Rath, Sean Hayes, Simon Foweather, and Rui Coimbra won last week, one of the fastest guys in this series. They're up front, all going to be going for the win. But you got to think, if you're Tom Rath or Sean Hayes, you're starting at the moment in front of all your class competitors. So it's going to be a race for the win. Not only that, but also for class wins to see if somebody can make improvements in the points, which goes back to what I was saying earlier, which if you're an open driver, caught up with a bunch of one of the pro guys, you definitely, at least in my opinion, I would say that you want to be ahead of all your open competitors with the pro drivers to try and pull away from all your competitors to get more points and have a better championship shot as we are nearing the end of the Spec-5 season.
Yeah, so right now what I'm seeing is the tables have kind of turned a little bit. We're right now riding on board or watching Rui Coimbra. He did set a green first sector, but you can see him through Sector 2 and Sector 3 a little bit off the pace. Has set 2 yellow sectors there. So we're going to see what Rui can do as he comes through Sector 4. You'll see that red dot on your map. He does run that one green. He's now looking for a 248.250 to beat Don't know if he's going to do that, but we'll see if he can get across here, because right now Rui does not want to be in between Otis Adams, Foweather, and Hayes. Here he comes across the line with a 249.2. Is not going to do it for him. Just kidding. My overlay was wrong. Rui Coimbra crosses the line with a 248.105. That is exactly what Rui needed and wanted. Did not want to be stuck between those open drivers at the start of this race.
And with that, that puts the open drivers all together with Sean Hayes, Simon Foweather, and Otis Adams. With putting them all three together, they're starting. If you just take away those top two, they're essentially just starting top three with all of those.
Take a look.
Multiple open class competitors, but Otis Adams Jr. goes through the bus stop, a great last chicane to try and improve his times. He's going to come across the line.
I think he's going to do it. Is he going to be able to get that done? He runs 3 green sectors. No.
Look like it.
Unfortunate for him. David Staub just crumbs across the line as well. We'll see where that puts him. 14th overall. Way down there, actually. And that will finish out our qualifying. Wait for the grid to come up, and there it is. And I will take you through the first 10. Let Alex take the second 10. Right now, in first place, we've got Rui Coimbra with Tom Rath in second. 2 pro drivers. Tom Rath finished about 0.2 off the pace of Rui in qualifying. Sean Hayes and Simon Foweather in your second row. 2 open drivers. With Otis Adams and Jordy Fike on the third row. You can see that's an open and a pro. 2 pros on the fourth row between Jedediah Babinek and Nikki Borovic, starting 7th and 8th. Charles O'Carroll in 9th, and Kenneth Staub in 10th.
And that runs out your top 10. Starting P11, just outside the top 10, looking in, Paulo Coimbra. About 9/10 off Rui Coimbra's time. Down there in 11th place, Mitchell Peak rounds out the top 12. About almost a second off there. Then Brian Zabelski, P13, David Staub, P14, Stephen Hellowell, P15, Greg Brockway, P16, Edgar Sancinelli, P17, Charles Boley in P18, and Brennan Horn rounds out the field in 19th.
Will be your grid for tonight's race. 19 Miatas around this massive track. Should be very interesting. We already all know that drafting is going to play a major factor. The question is, if you're looking here in between all of these drivers right now, I think the biggest presence of cars in this field is going to be the not a team, and we're going to have to see exactly when these drivers can hook up. You can see one right there, and Rui Coimbra there starting in first place. He's one of them, and then if you look back just a little ways, right to there, you've got Otis Adams as well. So you can see all of these not a teams getting here pretty close with Paulo Coimbra. So if they can all hook up, I have a feeling they're going to be quite the machine to beat around here tonight.
Yeah, and definitely with those hashtag not a team. I'm just going to call them teammates, man, it's easier. With those teammates closer together up towards the front of the grid in Rui Coimbra and Otis Adams Jr. is definitely going to be interesting to see how they can work together in the early stages of this race to try and maybe pull a gap on their competitors, or they might just go for it with Otis Adams maybe being hungry for his first win here in the Spec-5 World Tour, especially since he doesn't have a lot of time to get it done come towards the end of the season, which is going to play a role for a lot of these guys, especially some of those guys back there, Sean Hayes, Simon Foweather, but these guys are going to round at turn 20 and down towards the start-finish line.
Wait for
and
the
the green flag is out, and we are underway for the
Spec-5 Look at him fanning out already.
Fanning out already, almost 4 wide as they come to the corner. Rui Coimbra throws a block. Tom Rath has his nose out front so far. Simon Foweather was there, but they're still 2 wide coming off the corner. Rui Coimbra can't get clear just yet, and now it looks like they're racing at Daytona and Talladega 2 by 2 by 2 throughout the field. And this is going to be terrifying, honestly. They're going to go side by side through Oroge and Radion. Let's see how they keep it together. They get single file before they get to the corner. A very smart decision on the part of all these drivers. But now, down the long Camel Straight in these Miatas. Oh, and there's a car spinning. That looked like Greg Brockway down there in the back.
Yeah.
Like coming off a Radion, looks like he just lost it. That wasn't Greg Brockway, excuse me. That was Stephen Hellowell, excuse me. Looks like he might have just gotten turned off a Radion, either that or lost it. But side by side into turn 5, Simon Foweather, he's going to take the lead from Tom Rath. Looks like he's not quite clear yet, but he's going to get it as they come down into turn 7, down into Ravage, just a chase between these top 5 cars, really throughout the entire top 10. Everybody's still really close. Like Sean Hayes might have tried to pull a bit of a defensive line, turns in a bit earlier there than the rest of the field, but of chaotic and fantastic opening laps so far here at Spa.
This has been pretty crazy so far. You can already see there that Stephen Hellowell is there in the pits. We will try to get a replay on that when things start to calm down a little bit. Here we do have some crazy first lap battles, though, that we really can't get away from, as we do see maybe a move. Looked like Otis Adams was trying to get there on the outside of Sean Hayes, wasn't able to make it happen. None of these cars have broke away yet. Look at just pack racing all the way through. There might be a small breakaway. Looks like David Staub may be losing the back of Jedediah Babinek by just a little bit.
Yeah, but as they come down the Blanchimont straightaway, very long straightaway, might honestly be longer than the Kemmel Straight, even though you have to turn throughout it, and that's just going to pull those cars right back together in the back of the field. At least I would say that draft is going to be a very powerful force throughout this race here, as they're going to come down into Blanchimont, full throttle left-hander for these guys. But if you're back there in the draft, you might honestly have to lift a little bit, as Rui Coimbra almost peaks out of line. He's going to go to the outside of Tom Rath, as Tom Rath looks to the inside of Simon Foweather to try and take the lead back on the opening lap of this race.
Whoa!
Almost gets clear in turn 19. He's not going to be able to do it as they come out of turn 20, and Simon Foweather leads lap 1 of the Spec-5 World Tour at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps.
So it's not over yet, because they do still have turn 1. We'll get this track map open for you here very quickly. They do still have this turn 1. Actually, it doesn't look like we will get this track map opened up. There, everything's starting to work for us now all of a sudden. So we do have Rui Coimbra there in the third position. Looks like we're looking at right now, and it looks like they may be trying to go side by side. Everyone got through turn 1. It appears pretty cleanly. So yeah, looking like, through Eau Rouge and Radion, people started to get a little bit loose, and they're still getting loose.
Yeah, Nicky Borovic, you saw him almost spin that pink and white Miata. You saw him almost spin that car off the corner. He's now going to go side by side with Jedediah Babinek as they're side by side for the lead. Rui Coimbra pushes Tom Rath to the outside of Simon Foweather as they come down into turn 5. Simon Foweather relents the position, and Tom Rath takes the lead as they come into turns 6 and 7 down into Ravage. If Simon Foweather can get a good run here, he might be able to make a pass here in turn 8, known as Ravage. He's not close enough this time. He's just going to have to wait. Maybe waiting till the Blanchimont straightaway to try and get him into the last corner. But still, everybody's sticking very close together. The top 10 is separated by probably not even 4 seconds. Everybody very close together, very close racing. And even if you see David Staub, he gets out of half a second from behind Jedediah Babinek, you can still see him. He's still there, but almost not even separated by 3 seconds. Still just 3.1 with all of these guys as they come into Fanes, turns 13, 14, and 15 here. Simon Foweather still just trying to chase down that leader. Everybody else single file for the most part. Still just been a pack race all day long. Rui Coimbra from the pole has dropped down to 3rd so far, as we're going to take a look now at what happened to Stephen Hellowell on the opening lap. Looks like he clipped the grass in Eau Rouge, then just got loose and spun it off a Radion straight into the barriers, and that probably totaled that Miata. He brings it back to the pits. Unfortunate for his race to end that early. As here we take a look at Mitchell Peak in the 56. You can see his orange and black Miata down there, breaking into the bus stop here, side by side with the 114. That is tags Canada Staub, I believe that was.
That
and
is.
Just sets them both around. Mitchell Peak waits and almost gets hit by
Wow!
back there. Brian Zabelski and Rui Coimbra with the send of the century down there to try and get around Tom Rath as Simon Foweather probably passed him down Blanchimont as we missed that looking at replays. Dang it, Adam, we did it again.
I hate this. I absolutely hate this. We will try to catch what happened here. We're just going to wait just a minute because we do have a some side-by-side going on back here. Who is that back there? Looks like that may be Charles Vaccaro. Behind it, David Staub was trying to make a move around the inside of Jedediah Babinak. Doesn't look like he was able to get that done right there. So we will go back and try to get very quickly to see if we can see what exactly happened between these four drivers. Right now we are looking at Sean Hayes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simon Foweather and goes to the inside. Then you've got Rui Coimbra on the inside. Man, what a move by all four of these drivers to stay clean, but what a move by Foweather and Coimbra, able to both get positions there.
Yeah, definitely a fantastic job from them. As we look back on the lead, and as we miss it again down the Camel Straight, Tom Rath says, "Thank you very much, I'll take that right back," and gets the lead down into turn 7. And now everybody's still close together. It's just nobody is able to split apart with the draft and how high speed some of these corners are for these Miatas. So a fantastic job by everyone so far. Looks like Simon Foweather went for maybe a bit of a late apex there out of Ravage to try and make up some time on Tom Rath. But still, that draft is just going to allow him to close right back up to him as they come down into Puan turn 12. Breaking into there a little bit. Tom Rath not able to break the gap all that much. Simon Foweather still sticking right to his back bumper as Rui Coimbra falls back just a tad, but still the entire top 8 on under a blanket right now. Quite frankly, it's the entire top 13. Everybody's sticking together perfectly. Nobody is able to pull away from the car behind him, especially your leaders, which honestly, Adam, as we come down this Blanchimont back straightaway here, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Simon Foweather take that lead right back and then have Tom Rath take it right back from him when they get back to the Camel Straight.
I think we're going to see a lot of this, but you can see those top 2 starting to break away a little bit from Coimbra. Unless they do that, you can see Foweather going to the left-hand side here through Blanchimont, and they're going to be on the left-hand side for quite a while. They are going to be side by side, still side by side, and it looks like Foweather has gotten this move done on Rath. Now the question is Rath going to try to get him back down the inside of the bus stop? He is. He cuts to the inside, but look out, because Rui Coimbra is there to capitalize on anything that may happen between these two side by side. Looks like Coimbra may actually have a better exit than Rath and take the second position, but now Coimbra is the one out of the draft, and it looks like we're going to think about going 3 wide into turn 1. Oh my goodness.
Definitely 3 wide for a second there. Rui Coimbra couldn't hold it there. Very slow down into turn number 1. Tom Rath brings it around the outside, and now he's going to have to follow Foweather through Erosion Radion as we see Sean Hayes. He got around Rui Coimbra back there, and now those not a team teammates are 1-2 for 4th and 5th. And down the Camel Straight, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him maybe pull off some bump drafting to try and make a move on the cars in front of him, as here comes Tom Rath around the outside. He has help from Sean Hayes, who's going to push him down that back straightaway as they do each other down the Camel Straight. Rui Coimbra,
oh my goodness.
Simon Foweather, never mind. He says, see ya, I'm going 3 wide. Rui Coimbra might take the lead from that move. Yes, he does. Down into turn 5. And Tom Rath and Simon Foweather make side-by-side contact.
No!
Most part and hits Otis Adams Jr. We did it again. We gave him the commentator's curse as Rath and Otis Adams Jr. Rath goes back to the pits. Otis Adams Jr. might try and keep it going there, but Rui Coimbra, now your new leader of this race after a 3-wide move down the Camel Straight and into turn 5. Simon Foweather definitely has some work to do if he wants to try and get a shot at getting that lead back again.
We will have to go back and see exactly what happened here with Tom Rath and Otis Adams Jr. It was a little bit sketchy. We did see Rath get pushed wide by Foweather. We're about to see it right here. Rath, they door each other. Rath goes out wide, and then Rath just comes back across the track on Otis Adams like he just wasn't even there.
Yeah, and it looked like he was just trying to take the corner line, maybe expected Otis Adams to maybe back out of that, just let Rath have the corner there, just misjudge from him, and just cuts across the nose of Otis Adams Jr. and puts both of them into the fence. Just very, very unfortunate for both of those drivers, doing so well in the first 10 minutes of this race, only to have it end in a bitter way, as here we see Paulo Coimbra look like he might be trying to make a move on Edgar Sancinelli, but then 7 seconds back from him, Otis Adams Jr. probably going to quietly pull it into the pits and maybe call it a night. Just very unfortunate for those drivers.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see happen, especially in minute 11 of this race. We do have a shout out from Torsk 1007 here in the YouTube chat saying Alex Andermid. So he just, I think, wanted to remind you that your name is not Alex Anderson. It is Alex Andermid.
Oh, sorry. What's up, man? How you doing? We had a pretty good race in our league quite just a few minutes before this. But happy to see you again. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, man. But back up towards the front, Simon Foether has closed that gap down to under 3/10 as they come through Erosion Radion. Simon Foether is going to have an arrow push help from Sean Hayes as they come down this long Kemmel straight. Simon Foether, he pulls to the right side. He has Sean Hayes, the other open driver, to help him. We got two open drivers helping each other right now around the outside of Rui Coimbra. Simon Foether gets his nose out front and gets his entire car out front before the corner. Rui Coimbra relents, lets them both have the position, and out it's an open class 1-2 between Simon Foether and Sean Hayes. As we look back behind these two, you can see Jordy Fike and Jedediah Babinek here, just trying to make up some ground on the leaders. They definitely probably made up a little bit there as they went side by side into turn 5. Just these three guys, Nicky Borovic, Jedediah Babinek, and Jordy Fike, probably just trying to work together to catch up to these three leaders and maybe try and get themselves into the lead. But going back to 9th place, Charles Bowley in the 114 car, I recognized him as we were coming through that replay on the incident going into turn 5 between Tom Rath and Otis Adams Jr. I think the 114 might have gotten a piece of that there, Adam.
Yeah, you can kind of see the right side of that car doesn't look like it should. May have a little bit of some scuffing there on the right side, but it looks like Bowley got through it about the best he could. We'll go ahead and bring up where all of these drivers have gained and lost so far in this race. And we can see that Bowley actually has gained 9 positions. So if he was part of that incident, it appears as if he's doing okay at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a great job from him recovering from that damage. I'm not sure if it's affecting the performance of that 114 machine. Still doing a pretty good job down there inside the top 10. He's up 9 spots, started P18, so a great showing from him early as we look back towards the front. We're not going to miss a pass for the lead this time. Sean Hayes tries to put it to the outside in the bus stop. He isn't able to keep his nose there. And Simon Foether still keeps the lead as they come to lap 6, almost a third of the way through this race, and already some very chaotic and fun racing from these guys. And I would say Nicky Borovic sets the fastest lap of the race, but excuse me, that was his fastest lap of the race, not the fastest lap overall, with a 2:48.338. And actually, that might have been the fastest lap of the race.
Yes, it was.
My condolences. That was the fastest lap of the race from Nicky Borovic with a 2:48.338. So he looked to maybe try a move on Jedediah Babinek up through Erosion Radion, not able to get it done. And now, as Jordy Fike, Jedediah Babinek, and Nicky Borovic have caught up to the back bumper of Rui Coimbra, they can definitely start to make some moves for the lead. But Sean Hayes and Simon Foether bump drafting down this back straightaway. Maybe Sean Hayes back there is just thinking, hey, if we can pull away from Rui Coimbra, we can definitely make some moves here and just have it be a battle between us. Very smart decision between those two drivers to try and work together. I think I could be wrong on that one, but if they are trying to work together, I would say definitely a very smart move to keep the fast Rui Coimbra behind him.
Yeah, that is a smart move, but it doesn't really look like it's working out all that well. As we can see, Rui has closed that gap, and he is now there as Sean Hayes goes just a little bit wide through Rivage. That is not going to help Sean's case at all, as Rui is now caught right up to the back of that driver. And it does appear like... Oh, nope, never mind. That was Otis Adams entering the pit lane, as you mentioned him doing so. But he is out back on track now, which is a good thing. But we are starting to see these drivers here on the top two. You can tell that Sean Hayes is like, okay, we're not going to get away from these guys. It's time for me to go for a move.
Yeah, and Sean Hayes just trying to pull away from Rui Coimbra with Simon Foweather. Couldn't get it done there, as Rui Coimbra has still closed the gap again. But it's still a very close race between the entire top six. They're all under a blanket, and then there's a bit of a gap around 7/10 between Nicky Borovic and David Staub. But even with multiple incidents, these guys are still keeping it very close as we take a look back here at David Staub. Probably not within draft range. If you look at the intervals, he's not making up time on Borovic in front of him down the straights. So you might not be getting a good enough draft there. But definitely still some close racing up front. Looks like Sean Hayes going to try and send it up the inside of Simon Foweather. Not able to get it done. Simon Foweather still takes his optimal line through there. And Simon Foweather, unexpected from me, a very early pit.
By himself.
Yeah, in just minute 17 of this race. So...
that
maybe a bit of a strategy call from him.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of strategy that would be, though, to be honest, Alex, because that guy just went in there by himself. You're going to see everybody else drive around him. Foweather, he's going to have to come out in a position, and I don't see this helping him at all.
Yeah, these lead cars are going to be drafting in front of him. They're probably going to be able to make up a bit of time unless they do this. Rui Coimbra swings wide to try and take this spot away. He has help from Jordy Fike down the Kemmel Straight. Nobody electing to follow the open driver of Sean Hayes down into Turn 5. But like we were saying, with that call maybe not helping Simon Foweather, if they continue to race like this, which they are racing really hard right now, as Jordy Fike moves up into P2, following Rui Coimbra for the lead. If you think about it, if they keep racing that hard, then I think it just might even out. Simon Foweather would still be able to make up some time here. If they race, they'd have to have an overall slower corner speed, which would then assist Simon Foweather in catching up to them if he can run some optimal laps here.
Yeah, no, this would, the best case scenario, yeah, I think you're right, but we're just going to have to see how all of that plays out. I mean, at the moment, it doesn't appear like there may be much movement. I mean, we're seeing some, but all these drivers are still just kind of like hanging out, you know. I think they are waiting for those stops at the moment. So we'll have to see how all of this works out after stops, I think, is where it's going to get very, very interesting, to say the least. But we are seeing Rui Coimbra holding a bit of a gap there on Jordy Fike at the moment. Sean Hayes did get double overtaken, which is never a good thing if you're that driver in the yellow Miata, but that's okay because he is still right on the back of Jordy Fike, and who's to say that maybe him and Jordy Fike don't do the same thing that Rui Coimbra and Jordy Fike just did to him.
Yeah, and if they can pull back up to Rui Coimbra, I'm not sure what they would do here, because they might think Simon Foweather is one of the fastest guys in this race. It's just he hasn't been able to really show it because of the draft affecting them. And if these guys start to race up front, which I think they might have just gone side by side into turns 19 and 20. Okay, I'm incorrect. Disregard what I just said.
Oh, there goes another. Now they're all going
into the pits. And now this is where Jordy Fike, Jedediah Babinek, and Nicky Borovic might have a bit of a strategy call on their hands. We saw them working together to catch up to the main field. And it looks like they're going to try and pit together, as well as we see Greg Brockway, Paulo Coimbra, Edgar Sancinelli, and Charles Boley come into the pits as well, maybe to try and make up a bit of ground on those three cars. But Jordy Fike and Jedediah Babinek and Nicky Borovic, I would say, since they've been working well together in the start of this race, they maybe agreed, maybe over a private chat or something, to pit on the same lap. try and work together, come out at the same time, and try and make up some time on these leaders. And it's going to help. We just saw how 2 laps impacted that. Simon Foweather still 3 seconds back of those lead cars, and they were still behind Rui Coimbra. So Simon Foweather, unless he can get some help, he might be out of this race, Adam.
Yeah, that was a very, very bad strategy call on Simon Foweather's part, but there really isn't much they can do at that point. You have to think, if Foweather's not in a chat, not talking, he's hoping to peel in and people are going to go with him. But if Simon Foweather, they all know he's the quickest driver, I think, tonight. So I don't think any of them were going to help him out. Now, we are probably going to see, we have heard that about lap 10 is when you do run out of gas. So we may see the rest of these drivers come in this lap. But at this point, you better hope Sean Hayes and Rui Coimbra are working together, because if they don't, there are 3 drivers that have just come out of the pits that will and probably pass you for first place.
Yeah, definitely. And Sean Hayes and Rui Coimbra have to be considering that as well. They have to pit either this lap or next time by. So we take a look at Stephen Hallowell. He comes down the front straightaway here. Maybe a bit of an off track or something. Under the start-finish line banner. Breaking into turn number 1. Ooh, just overcooks it a little. Swings it wide. Does a good job keeping it on the racing surface. Just slow turn 1 from him. But back up towards the front, you have to think that Rui Coimbra and Sean Hayes, they have to be considering that they have to come in either this lap or on the next 2. And if the cars behind them that have already pitted took fresh tires, even with the draft helping these 2 out, especially if they race for the lead, fresh tires are still going to help those cars behind them. If you have 2 packs that are drafting with each other as they go side by side for the lead into the bus stop, Sean Hayes is going to...
Oh, no, Sean, that was not a good move by Sean Hayes. Is that going to create some issues? Was David Staub able to get by him? Oh, I don't see any damage. That was very, very interesting. We're going to have to go back and see what happened with Sean Hayes as he tries to slam on the brakes, tries to get around Rui Coimbra and then go into the pits, which was not the smartest move I've ever seen anybody do. But watch David Staub behind him. He slams on the... Oh, my goodness gracious.
Excuse me, I just lost my voice there or something, but yeah, definitely. And not a pretty good move, I would say, for Sean Hayes to pull. And it's just probably, I don't see why he would have thought to do that. I mean, he knew that Rui Coimbra was going to come in either that time, but if Rui Coimbra hadn't been pitting that lap, then I mean, I can't think of why that would have been a smart decision to pull. Because, I mean, if Sean Hayes, he's coming into the pits that time, and Rui Coimbra, he's staying out for another lap, then those 2 cars collide, and that's the end of their race. So, obviously very sketchy, but still everybody able to come out clean there, and Rui Coimbra still manages to keep the lead over Jedediah Babinek and Jordy Fike.
Yeah, but look back here. Simon Foweather's coming. He's still not that far off the pace, about 9/10 off of Borovic, so he's still within that draft range that he needs. But all of these drivers at the moment have made it, and I think that move from Sean Hayes, look at how far back that has put him. He is down and out at this moment. Was battling for the lead. Had to slam on the brakes to get into the pits. Just a very interesting move by that driver, and that has cost him big time.
Yeah, and actually, while we were looking over at Sean Hayes, Jedediah Babinek made a move on Rui Coimbra into Ravage and took the 4th place spot away. So even though probably staying with each other and drafting is their best decision here, they are still choosing to race each other for track position. But coming down into Ravage, Jedediah Babinek still gets a nice corner line. Rui Coimbra falls in line as they come through 13, 14, and 15. And back towards the back of this pack, Simon Foweather is no longer out of this race. He's clawed his way back, and he is now 4 tenths behind Nicky Borovic, and he is still in this race. He's got the draft, so these guys aren't going to pull away from him down the straightaways, so he can definitely breathe a bit easier now as he knows that he is still in this race. As we look up here at Charles Vaccaro and David Staub, looks like they're both going to come into the pits this time. Sure looks like Charles Vaccaro stayed out one more lap.
Wow.
Just trying to stretch the fuel a tad bit further, or maybe just trying to get a lap lead if that warrants a bonus point here for these guys. Kenneth Staub also looks like he may be coming into the pits, and never mind, he stays out another lap. I stand corrected. And Rui Coimbra tries to pull a move on Jedediah Babinek into the bus stop. Jedediah guards the inside and is able to keep the spot through turns 19 and 20. And now Charles Vaccaro leading that race all by himself. Kenneth Staub all by himself in P2. And these guys are going to pass David Staub here as they come around turn number 1. But I actually want to see David Staub. He might not be out of this field, and no, he is not. David Staub, a great strategy call from him. He comes out with these 5 cars. So David Staub, as well as Simon Foweather, even with their mixed strategy calls, still in this race with the draft as they come up through Eau Rouge and Radion, then down the Kemmel Straight. So I think we are watching the provisional battle for the lead here between those 6 cars. We see Charles Vaccaro, he's by himself down coming into Ravage. And now Rui Coimbra pushing Jedediah Babinek down the Kemmel Straight as Simon Foweather and Nicky Borovic are side by side. Borovic elects the position. Now Jordy Fike almost tried to go for a move on Rui Coimbra. Decides to leave him be. But with these guys battling back here, you gotta think with how close, with David Staub being able to come out with these guys, if they're racing this hard side by side through Ravage 2x2 again, Simon Foweather trying to get around Jordy Fike, he will, and then Rui Coimbra tried to make a move on Jedediah Babinek. If they're racing this hard in this 6-car pack, this might leave Charles Vaccaro the room to pit this time and still come out with these 6 cars.
So you can see Charles Vaccaro about to come through Stavelo. So we'll have to see exactly. You can see the rest of those drivers, Staub, Babinet, Coimbra, Foweather, Fike, all back there in that gigantic group behind him. I apologize, Staub is not part of that group. You got Babinet, Coimbra, Foweather, Fike, and Borovic back there. Now, if you're looking at the screen, about to come through Stavelo about now. So, Vaccaro does have quite a long gap between him and that, technically the provisional first place in this race. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to see Vaccaro come in. We'll stay on him. We're going to stay on these group back here because if these guys are still battling, which they are, this is not helping their case, and this may very well give Vaccaro the chance to get in and out. Looking at it, Vaccaro going to be coming into the pits. Now we can see second place of Staub probably going to be doing the same thing. There goes Kenneth Staub. So Vaccaro going to be coming into the pits. Now you've got third place coming through the bus stop. Now Vaccaro going to get on the brakes. Is he going to take tires? He is going to take one set of tires, and here comes Jedediah Babinek. May have had a slowdown. I think he did because he had to get on the brakes. Now where's Vaccaro? Is Vaccaro going to be coming out anytime soon? He's got to go right now if he's going to make it happen. I don't think this is going to work out too well for Vaccaro.
No, a bit of a shortcut through pit exit, and he's going to pull out at pretty much the same spot where David Staub came out of the pits. Charles Vaccaro, he's still in this race as well as they come down the short chute into Eau Rouge and Radion. But Simon Foweather, a poor strategy call leads him almost out of this race, but he makes up the time, gets around 5 cars in front of him in just around 2 laps, and now Simon Foweather is again your leader of this race. Rui Coimbra a close second with Jedediah Babinek pushing him as we take a look at Greg Brockway back here in P10 in a bit of a pack with Brian Zabelski and Kenneth Staub here. This is the battle for a top 10, it looks like. And side by side for the lead through turns 5 and 6. Rui Coimbra takes the lead from Simon Foweather. Jedediah Babinek tried to follow suit but falls back in line. And now Rui Coimbra, he's your current leader, and now with these guys here, even though they can race each other for the lead and take it at different intervals, they're going to be racing like this all the way to the end of this race. So you got to think, at what point do they take a step back and say, okay, we are the lead 7 cars. If we just chill out and wait for the remaining 15 minutes to wind down, then we start racing hard on the last lap or the last couple of laps, then we can really start to make moves and try and just keep our cars clean for the end of this race. But we take a look back here at Sean Hayes. He was up front in the first part of this race, but a poor pit entry and a bad, well, not really a bad strategy call. It was a good strategy call from this driver, but just bad pit entrance, probably just a bad pit stop overall for him, leaves him P8, 7.5 seconds back from the drivers he was racing earlier. But back up towards the front, Simon Foweather going to get the run through Stavelot and down into Blanchimont. He's going to have the draft and help from Jedediah Babinek, arrow pushing him down this back straightaway under the DHL banner and through turn 16, down into Blanchimont turn 17. Jedediah Babinek decides to not help Foweather here and tries to go to the inside through turn 17. Don't think it's going to help him all that much. They're going to make the run down into turns 19 and 20. Simon Foweather with the inside into these 2 corners. Jedediah Babinek still there. Still not able to clean him. They're still side by side down the front straightaway. Jordy Fike decides to follow Jedediah. But now, if you think, racing that way through those 3 corners, Blanchimont and the bus stop, has led Rui Coimbra to get an 0.8 of a second gap, which is not helping these guys at all.
No, it's not. And if you take a look back, this is doing nothing but helping Sean Hayes, the guy who had a questionable pit entry. But now Sean Hayes is going to be able to get this back on the mend and start catching these guys. He still has the time, especially if these drivers start racing or spread themselves out enough. We know Sean Hayes is quick. We might be able to actually see him not quite come in through the background. He's close, though. He is very close. So if these drivers keep racing like this is going to do nothing but help Sean. Back up here at the front of the field, we've got Rui Coimbra and Foweather battling right now. We are looking here at Jedediah Babinek at the moment. Jordy Fike back here in 4th with Nicky Borovic in 5th and David Staub in 6th. 7th is Charles Vaccaro. That rounds out your basically the top field that's going to win this race tonight. And then Sean Hayes kind of sitting all by his lonesome back there in 8th with Brian Zabelski in 10th. And Greg Brockway making some moves up here into 11th. Still on the move, trying to get past Zabelski there for 10th position. So anyways, right now looking here at the gaps, looks like Otis Adams is actually starting to make some moves back up the field after that early incident. Excuse me. Sancinelli, he is about to try to get around Sancinelli there for 13th position. Not the best race for Otis tonight, Alex.
Yeah, and I do apologize there. I had my mic muted. Didn't even realize it when I started talking. But, yeah, just not the best race for Otis Adams Jr. tonight. Just bad luck. Seems always right around the corner for him. He's done a good job salvaging it as much as he can back there in P14. But up towards the front, with an 0.8 gap at the start of this lap between 1st and 2nd, Simon Foweather has cut that down. And if Jedediah Babinek just decides to push him here, they might make up even more time as they come into Blanchimont and down under the Bridgestone banner and into turns 19 and 20. On the brakes hard into this chicane. Looks like Simon Foweather goes for a bit of a better exit line. Looks like he makes up a tad bit of time, maybe a couple hundredths on Simon Foweather on exit and down the main straight. And this is where Jedediah Babinek has to sit back and think, if I can push him here, I can probably make a run at the lead if we can catch up to Rui Coimbra. But Jedediah Babinek doesn't consider it and clears Simon Foweather, late braking into turn 1, moves Jedediah Babinek up into 2nd, and Rui Coimbra has just got to be loving this in his mirror, seeing his closest competitors racing each other for positions. But down this long Kemmel straight, if Simon Foweather decides to do the opposite of what Babinek did there and pushes him down this down this long camel straightaway, which it looks like he might try to do here. Nope, he moves to the inside, and again, Rui Coimbra just has got to be loving this in his mirror. Just these guys racing each other back there, and just not able to just get up to Rui Coimbra and make a move on him because they're racing hard there. Still side by side through turn 6, and Jedediah Babinek takes second once again.
Yeah, look at Nicky Borovic, actually. We're looking right now with the 2:48.338 there, fastest time of the night. Sitting here in the middle of this pack, not probably where he wants to be after you can see these top two really, battling extremely hard with Simon Foweather and Jedediah Babinek. If you're these cars back here, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, this is not what you want to be seeing, because if they take each other out, guess where they're going? Straight back towards you.
Yeah, definitely, and with that hard racing, there's got to be an element of fear among these bottom 4 drivers in this lead pack. Even though they are currently losing time, Jordy Fike 8/10 behind Simon Foweather currently. But like you said, if Jedediah Babinek and Simon Foweather, if they make contact and they spin around, those guys behind them, they aren't going to be able to do much except just plow straight into those guys in front of them unless they spin off the racing surface. But Jedediah Babinek is now clear of Simon Foweather, by around, I would say, 0.3 of a second. And down this back straightaway and into Blanchimont, Jedediah Babinek, he's got a run here. He just needs to get a little bit of help from Simon Foweather. They just need to not race each other like they have been. And they go single file through Blanchimont. And Simon Foweather going to go off track there to try and get to the inside. Not going to make it happen. Now he goes around the outside in turn 19. But Simon Foweather took a defensive, not Simon Foweather, Rui Coimbra took an offensive line there, and it's not going to matter as Jedediah Babinek still able to keep that second spot with under 2/10 behind Rui Coimbra, as Jordy Fike now tries to move to the outside to try and get around Foweather, not able to get it done as they come through the turn 1 hairpin. But Rui Coimbra and Jedediah Babinek, they are neck and neck as they're going to come up through Oroge and Radion, and I would say probably have a duel down the Camel Straight.
I have a feeling we're going to be seeing 2 duels here. Looks like Jordy Fike may be just backing up just a little bit off of Simon Foweather to get a run on him coming down the Camel Straight, but the first person to get there is going to be Rui Coimbra and Jedediah Babinek, and you can see Jedediah now pushing Rui down the straightaway, hoping that they can catch him. Now, I don't know if the same thing's going to happen here with Jordy Fike. Looks like Foweather getting a bit aggressive, and he's got to go to the inside and try to make a move, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, loses a bit of time there as they come through turns 5 and 6. He's definitely lost a bit of time there with that daring move to the inside. Just couldn't get anything done with it. Jedediah Babinek moving just 1 lane down to the inside, entering turn 5. Definitely lost time on Rui Coimbra through that corner. And now, again, this is where these drivers have to take a step back and think, okay, if we keep racing this way, we are not doing anything to try and help ourselves win this race. So if I'm them, I definitely have to try and communicate with these drivers around me and say, hey, let's just drop it for now. Let's stop racing like this, and let's try and catch up to Rui Coimbra and make a move around him to try and put ourselves in a position to win this race. But with the way Foweather and Babinek have been racing up to this point, I don't know if it's going to happen.
I really don't. I think if I am Jordy Fike at the moment, I've got to get him. I got to make something happen around these two, because these two clearly are not looking for the race win. They are looking to battle each other right now, especially Foweather, who is winning in his class, really has nothing to lose at the moment. If I'm Jordy Fike, I have really got to start making some moves. We have another shout out in the YouTube chat from Clark Nance saying Alex Anderwin. That one is also for you, Alex.
Hey Clark, how you doing? I see you found the broadcast link as well. Hope you're enjoying it. But looking up towards this field, I think what we were just saying might have happened, as Simon Foweather, he still tries to make a move. And again, Rui Coimbra just must be loving this. Looks like Simon Foweather relents it. Maybe he's finally realized that racing Babinek like that isn't helping any of them in their effort to win this race. So definitely did not lose any time at all there. They quite frankly gained some time there in that entire last section of this racetrack. So as we look back here and we see Nicky Borovic and David Staub. Looks like they're just staying single file, trying to catch up to these guys in front of them to try and win this race. But up towards the front, Jedediah Babinek, he's 5/10 back here if he can get some help, and that's a very big if, judging off the way they've been racing each other. If he can get some help from Simon Foa, they could probably get something done. As we look back here, Kenneth Staub to the inside of Brian Zabelski into the bus stop. This gets a nice move done. Looks like, I believe, I'm actually not quite sure who that is. I think that is, I don't see that. That was Greg Brockway, excuse me. That was Greg Brockway back there, racing with them as well. But like we were saying, we knew Jedediah Babinek.
Oh, this is going to get dangerous here.
Done. And looks like Simon Foer just decided, nope, I'm not helping you at all. You haven't been helping me, I'm not helping you. Which, if they have that mindset, is absolutely detrimental. They've fallen behind in second, which is just terrible for their race unless they can get something done here and try and figure this out. Look at Jordy Fike back there trying to get to the inside of Simon Foweather, probably to separate these two. And
there's contact!
Bit of contact into the no-name corner. I wouldn't be surprised if these two drivers are just getting sick of each other, but they have to drop this. If they want to win this race, they have to put this behind them and just try and race with each other instead of against each other, because now Rui Coimbra has pulled out a 1.3 second gap.
Wow!
These cars, as David Staub goes wide, hops off the curb, keeps it under control down into turn 13. But just these guys, they have to drop this. They have to drop this and just work together here to try and make a move on Rui Coimbra. They definitely have the speed. They just need to help each other down these long straightaways. But just, again, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen.
I mean, this is going back to what I said about if you're Jordy Fike sitting there in fourth position, yeah, Jordy really does need to try to make a move around these two, but they are starting to get pretty aggressive at each other, and you're wondering if they're even checking their mirrors to know if Jordy Fike's even back there at this point, because they are just going to town on each other at the moment. Here they come again. We'll see what they do into the bus stop. Looks like Foweather's going to get another run, try to go around the outside. Is he? Yes, he is. No, Babinek's going to cut him off just enough, and Foweather has to go way wide. Foweather loses quite a few positions here. We'll make sure Foweather doesn't make contact with anybody, and he almost does.
And just detrimental to everyone's race now, as I believe that was the white flag as Nicky Borovic comes into the pits. Might have missed his fuel stop. Yes, that is the white flag, and now these guys, they're in trouble. They wasted so much time racing each other that Rui Coimbra is now a second ahead of all of them. So unless they can help each other, which this is what Jordy Fike has to keep in mind right now, if he can work with David Staub and get up to Babinek, they have to work with each other here, try and push each other down this straightaway to make up some time on the leader of this race. And if they don't, Rui Coimbra has earned himself another victory.
Yeah, I think Rui Coimbra is sitting in a very, very good position right now. Looks like David Staub is just going to go wide, say, screw that. We're going to try to take this. You can see Babinek maybe down there. What did help out Jordy Fike just enough before they had to cut back up. Looks like Babinek's not going to have enough time as Staub's going to go way wide. Watch out, though. Foweather's coming, and I've seen Foweather. He's getting pretty aggressive now at this moment. There he excuse me.
Contact. He's sideways, and he saves it.
Holy moly.
Turn 7. I don't know why I yelled that, but that was an incredible save through turn 7 and into turn 8 for Simon Foweather. Might put him out of this race, but my applause goes to him for saving that race car. If anybody watching this has driven a Miata, you know they are not easy to save, as Jordy Fike and David Staub door-to-door contact through No Name, almost side-by-side through Puwan, but up towards the front, I don't know if Jedediah Babinek can get anything done here.
No, I think Rui Coimbra is going to come home with this lead, but my goodness, we cannot go away from this battle yet because it is still raging. Jordy Fike having to hold on to... Oh, there's contact!
No!
I had a feeling that was coming. Are they able to hold on to it? They are, but there might be a little more contact now. Watch out, Jordy Fike may be kind of mad. He might see Foweather down there. He shuts the door on Foweather, and that allows David Staub up there into third place, but another great save.
I cannot believe what I'm watching here. These guys, they hopped at least 5 feet in the air, landed on all fours, and they're still going strong. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see some contact down here in the last corner. Simon Foweather's just gotta be pissed off, even if he's leading the open class. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to maybe throw one at Jordy Fike down into this last corner. But
he's doing it
towards the front. Oh, way wide into Blanchimont. Clears Jordy Fike by a mile. I think he might have cut the track there. That was incredible. Looks like he's going to go wide, maybe give the spot back, but up front, Rui Coimbra earns himself another victory in the Spec-5 World Tour.
Oh, no!
Right across the line, back here.
Jordy Fike's out of gas!
Ooh, Charles Vaccaro! Charles Vaccaro wins the race for the open class over Simon Foweather. And it looks like David Staub got around Jedediah Babinek there to finish P2.
All right, we'll have to go back and watch some of this. We're going to get the rest of these drivers coming across. Sean Hayes looks like he's going to finish third. He does. All right, let's go back here, see exactly what happened. So we're going to see Charles Vaccaro, if we can. Looks like passes Simon Foweather. So here comes Charles into the bus stop. Foweather has to slow down. You can see Jordy already slow. Vaccaro comes around the outside. Jordy's out of gas. I believe Foweather runs himself out of gas as well, and Vaccaro's able to get that move done and take first place.
And I actually think that's exactly what happened to Babinek as well. Because if you looked, as we were watching Charles Vaccaro, we saw Jedediah Babinek very slow across the line here. So you can look. If we look over here, you see David Staub, Jedediah Babinek up there, just a few meters from P2. You see him slow, you see him wiggling, trying to get more fuel into the fuel line, but it just doesn't work. And David Staub ekes out a second place behind Rui Coimbra. I believe that's his first podium from what I've seen in this series. Fantastic job from him today.
Unbelievable. These races never seem to disappoint, do they, Alex?
Yeah, definitely. It's just always a fantastic race from everyone here today. And that was just a fantastic race from everybody all around. I know we always say it, but just great job from everybody here tonight. Fantastic race. It had everything that we could have ever wanted with it. And so we got to some winning interviews for these guys, huh?
Yeah, we absolutely could. Let's get you through the race results here, though, very quickly before we do that. So in first place, we've got Rui Coimbra, very comfortable win with David Staub there in second, Jedediah Babinek there in third. David had a heck of a run there at the end, able to get around Jedediah as they come across the line. I think Jedediah just runs himself out of gas. That's your top three in the pros. Top two in the opens is Charles Vaccaro and Simon Foweather. Looks like Simon may have either had a slowdown or ran himself out of gas coming out of bus stop with Jordy Fike there in sixth. And Sean Hayes is your third place guy there for the open class with Kenneth Staub in eighth, Nicky Borovic in ninth, and Brian Zabelski in 10th. Greg Brockway 11th, Otis Adams in 12th, Paulo Coimbra 13th, Edgar Sancinelli in 14th, Charles Bowley in 15th, Stephen Hellowell in 16th, Tom Rath in 17th, with Mitchell Peak there rounding out your field in 18th position. And now we absolutely can get ourselves to some interviews. Looks like, do we have Rui Coimbra? We do. Alex, we will give Rui to you. First place overall, first place in the pro class.
Well, Rui Coimbra, again, a fantastic show tonight from you. A flawless victory again. How'd you get it done? I mean, you started on pole and pit strategy, almost contact from Sean Hayes entering the pits there, it looked like. And just great job from you overall. How'd you get it done?
Hey guys, I'm not really sure, to be honest. It's a draft track, and I just wanted to stay out of trouble. You know, I was fortunate enough to get pole position. I know it was real close with, I think Tom had it for a little bit. Try to stay out of trouble first couple of laps. I knew with the draft, everybody bunched up. I've seen a lot of wrecks at the end of that long straight. So just try to survive. And I saw everybody going in for a pit stop, and I got a little worried. I'm like, did I miss my window? Is it going to be, are they going to undercut me and come out ahead? So I I pit like 1 or 2 laps later. I think Simon stayed out, right? I think he was on the outside going into that last chicane. And when it came out of the pits, I saw the group like 1 second behind me, so I knew I was still in the fight for the lead. So once I was in the front, I saw them towards the end. They were battling a little bit, so I was pushing hard just to see if I can open that gap a little bit while they battled. And it seems like it paid off. I feel like I keep getting lucky in these races. I don't think I'm the fastest one here. I just luckier than the other guy. But it's been a fun race.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm probably going to ask this to Jedediah, Babinec, and Foweather and all those guys as well. So, I want your opinion on this. I know that you were leading pretty much that entire back half of the race over the rest of the field there, but I want to say that was primarily because they were racing behind you, so I want your opinion on this. Do you think if Simon Foweather and Jedediah Babinec and all them, if you think that they decided to stay single file and help each other down the straightaways, if you think that they had done that, do you think they would have been able to catch up and give you more of a challenge come the end of the race?
Yeah, it was hard to see what was going on behind me, but it did look like they were going too wide a lot into some of the turns leading onto long straights, and I was definitely pulling the gap. So it didn't help them battling through those turns for sure, and definitely gave me an advantage.
Well, definitely you were still able to end up with the win, even after getting knocked out of the lead early in that race from Tom Rath and a bunch of other guys there racing for the lead. But you still managed to get it up front. Anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my wife, the Not a Team guys, and you guys for putting on a great broadcast. Brennan and Greg for this great league. It's my first season here and having such a good time doing it. So, yeah, big shout out to those guys too.
Yeah, well, that's all I got. Adam?
Oh, that's all here. Thank you, Rui, for putting on another great show for us tonight, and we'll see you hopefully next week after your maybe another win in Silverstone.
We'll see what happens, but I'll do my best. Thank you, guys.
Sounds great, Rui. Have a great night, man. That was Rui Coimbra there, first in class in the pros, and now we're going to bring in Charles Vaccaro. Alex, I'll let you have this one as well. Were we going to bring in Charles Vaccaro?
I think he might have just left.
He literally just left as I was dragging him in. So, never mind there. We'll go ahead and bring in Simon Foweather. We'll try that out. Simon Foweather there, second in class, fifth overall, Alex. There you go.
Simon Foweather, a great race from you tonight. Even if it wasn't the result you wanted, you still ended up with a respectable P5 overall and P2 in class. How did you end up here at the end of the day?
Well, that was a heck of a race. I'm sweating. That was from start to finish a pretty intense race, and with only one race to go now next week, the focus was really on Sean and Otis, just to make sure they were behind me more than anything. But Sean was with me the first part of the stint, and I guess we door banged a little bit on one of the turns. I think turn 3 or 4, and I lost a bit of aero. So I tried to stay in the front, but I was probably a couple of miles an hour straight. So that's why I pitted early, just to get a repair done and get back to normal again. But pitted out, and I managed to just hang on to a group of the pro guys, and just stuck onto the back of them. And I'm not sure what happened to Sean, but he fell back at that point. But it was the last 10 laps was just incredible. Thought I had one eye looking backwards to see where Sean and Otis were, but I was going for it. I was trying to get to the front, but it just ended up being a battle between myself and a couple of other guys, and Rhea had a pretty easy time in the end. He was just watching all the battling going on behind him. But so we never actually got to him in the end. But that was a heck of a race.
Yeah, and I just have a question. I mentioned this to Rui as well, but I have a question. I saw you battling with Jedediah Babinek. We all saw you battling with Jedediah Babinek towards the back half of this race. I'm going to ask Jedediah this question as well, but you guys were definitely racing hard. You know, you would go side by side into corners leading up to long straightaways, and then go side by side into chicanes and all that. Do you think that if you guys had stayed single file and worked together, do you think you would have been able to catch Rui Coimbra and give him a fight for the win here?
I think I had the pace. That's why I tried so hard to get by him. I did try that for a little while, and we didn't seem to gain any gap to Rui. So at that point, I just wanted to get by him, and he's pretty stubborn, as you could tell. But we just couldn't figure ourselves out. So it's a bit of a shame. For I guess it's easy, made Rui's life easy.
Yeah, but still, you put up a great fight tonight. And actually, did you run out of fuel out of the last corner, allowing Charles Vaccaro to win the open class?
No, just had a lot of traffic in the area, and there's a sausage curb on that last corner there, and I lost a bit of grip, so I had to lift off a little bit, but I still had fuel.
Yeah, but still a good showing from you here tonight. So, with that, anybody you want to thank for being able to end up here at the end of the day and providing a great race overall?
Yeah, just a shout out to PMW Motorsports. I'll be with them next weekend at Road America at the WRL race up there. So just shout out to them. And
Yeah,
of course, shout out to you guys. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm sure it's awesome.
No, thank you for that, and good luck next week at Road America. Hope you can get something done there. But other than that, I think that's all I got for you, and have a good night, man.
All right, cheers, guys.
Thank you, Simon. That was Simon Foweather there in second position in class for the Open. We got one more for you, Alex, if I can grab him. That's going to be Jedediah Babinek, third overall and third in class for the pros, and he's with us right now.
Well, Jedediah Babinek, a fantastic showing from you tonight here at Spa. Definitely a great race from you, and you put on a great show for us here in the booth. Walk me through it, my man. I mean, you were up front. You know, you definitely had the pace there to finish good at the end, and just had a great car all night.
Yeah, it was just a lot of patience in the beginning. I think I started 7th or something like that. So just kind of staying patient, going according to plan with the fuel save. Kind of working my way up as I could. Everything seemed to be going pretty well. Pitting at lap 8 was the plan all along. Right before the tire drop off. Yeah, but it's interesting. I don't know how much the fuel saving made a difference here, because it seems like nobody really jumped each other in the pits. I mean, Rui went in a couple laps after us in the lead, and he came out, a second in front of us or so. So, really the only kibosh in the plan was running into Simon for the last 4 or 5 laps or so. Everything was going pretty well up until then, where I started having a fight and used a bunch of fuel, and then that set off the very end where I had to really save fuel and almost didn't make it.
And that brings me to the question that I have asked both Rui Coimbra and Simon Foweather. Had you stayed single file instead of racing Foweather there at the end of that race, do you think you would have had a shot at being able to catch up and pass Rui Coimbra there?
Oh, definitely. Because before we started to fight, I was sitting right on his bumper through a lot of straights. Then we'd fight, at least me and Simon would fight. I think we fought one time, and then I ended up getting away on them and sticking right up on Rui. And then, a couple laps later with the draft, they ended up catching up again, and then it kind of set off another little another little fight there. And then after that, I started having to really start looking at fuel concerns at that point. So then once I had to start really saving fuel again, that was making it a heck of a lot harder to catch up to Rui. Or basically at that point, I was pretty much accepting the fate that I was not going to catch him and just needed to save the race and get P2.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to ask, did you run out of fuel out of that last, allowing David to stop?
Yeah, I was sputtering down the straight past
oh god,
whatever's the turn right before the chicanes. There's that wide open fifth gear corner. That's where it started sputtering for me. So then I was just kind of like trying to get it across the line.
Yeah, and you were still able to manage it and get it across the line to finish P3 on the podium. Got any people you want to shout out, give a little thanks to?
All the guys at Team Watson Racing. Thanks for supporting me. And Jason Statham for being the Chuck Norris of our generation.
Alright, that's definitely a worthy shout out to Jason Statham. I hope he sees that one, honestly, because that would be fantastic. But that's all I got for you, my man. Have a good night.
Take care.
You too.
That was Jedediah Babinek there in third in class, shouting out Jason Statham there at the end of the race. That's pretty impressive. Can't really fault anybody for that. But that's going to round us out here tonight, Alex. We have a few guys here in chat that we're have to read off. Brendan Horan says Jedediah the robot. Otis Adams says, I'm not a superstitious man, but for the love of God, please stop cursing me. Just kidding, but not really. So I told him next week, Alex, we won't mention him once. We won't even show his car. If he's in first, we're going to act like there is no first place driver on track. And finally, we have Clark Nance saying, Alex, I love you. And that's that's it for all of the YouTube chats. Rounds out everything for the chats tonight. And I mean, final thoughts here, Alex. I will tell you mine. I knew this wasn't going to disappoint, and boy, was I right. The drafting here, especially down the Kimmel Straight and through Blanchimont, was absolutely unbelievable. Passing was insane, and that just goes to show the amount of skill that the Spec-5 World Tour has in its lineup.
Yeah, and this continues my streak. I have yet to be disappointed with a race in this series. They have never been lackluster to me. So I'm going to hope we can carry that momentum and just finish strong at Silverstone with these guys. Just a fantastic race from everyone overall. Like you said, multiple passing opportunities and just a chaotic race. You know, I love me some good old chaos. It just always throws a wrench into the system and gives us an interesting race to cover. And I always just enjoy having that stuff happen in these races, and I'm really excited for Silverstone. I mean, it's the championship race next week, I do believe, so I'd expect to have a great race next season as some people make their final attempt to get the championship here in the Spec-5 World Tour. Yeah, absolutely looking forward to that. You guys can find that next week. Same time, about 9:15 p.m. Eastern time, we go live here for the Spec-5 World Tour on Thursday night. So, with that being said, that rounds out Slow Motion Broadcasting's coverage this week. Nothing else coming up for the rest of the week. You can catch us next week, though, on Tuesday night with the American Muscle Series. And then again, you cannot catch us on Tuesday night with the American Muscle Series because their championship round was on Tuesday. So next week, the only thing we have going on, Alex, is the Spec-5. So catch us back here on Thursday. My name is Adam Thompson. I was joined in the commentary booth by Alex Anderson. This was Slow Motion Broadcasting's coverage of the Spec-5 World Tour here at Spa. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday night. Have a great weekend. Everyone be safe, and we'll talk to you guys next time.